Record. So we're recording this meeting and it will be posted to our website later. Hi, Rosie, are you there?
She's driving at the moment, so she might not be able to speak, but I believe she is listening.
Okay, I was asking because she seems to be the only member of the public we have, and I was just wondering what she's interested in terms of the redevelopment district. If she lives in the area, works in the area.
Yeah, so she does, and then she got promoted to regional manager, so she sees the property in the area, and then I'm the community manager at the property she was at.
Okay, what property is that?
1505 Demumbrian.
Okay. All right, I know where that is. Okay, so we'll just skip through the questions, the online questions right now. And if you have a question, feel free to chime in.
Okay.
I'll give a little bit of background on Arts Center. It was the redevelopment district was established in 1998 and is scheduled to end in 2040. In 1999, the total property values were appraised at 109 million. And as of today, they are about 2.5 billion. This is a more detailed map of the district. You can see that on the west side of the district, it's bisected by Interstate 40, and on the east side is bisected by the railroad. It goes as far north as Broadway, as far south as Division Street, and on the east is 8th Avenue South, and on the west is 17th Avenue South. So we're going to go through each objective that's in the redevelopment plan. And I'll go through these kind of quickly since it's just you on the call right now. The first objective was to have harmonious land use patterns. And you can think of that as putting Legos together. Does this Lego make sense next to that Lego? That's how we look at buildings in different areas. We want to make sure that the area feels natural and it flows and it works for the people using those developments. Objective B is the redevelopment of the project area, where we try to limit uses that don't conform with what's happening in the area. One example of this is actually on the bottom right of the screen, which is the Gulch Crossing. And at the top is the Frist Art Museum that we think contributes to the productivity of the area. We wanted to eliminate substandard buildings. Here, there's an example. The top picture is the building where 404 Kitchen is now. As you can see, it was sort of a drab building, not much happening on the outside, but after 404 Kitchen moved in, it became an active space. They have outdoor seating, which activates that area and makes it just a more lively place to live. Objective D was to change land use or intensity. And this is guided by the Nashville Next Downtown Community Plan, which was implemented by the city several years ago. And also the Downtown Code, which is driven by the planning department. Objective E was to establish standards and guidelines, which we have done. We have the design review committee at MDHA that meets twice a month on the first and third Tuesdays to review projects that are taking place in the district. They're required to submit a site plan, landscape plan, and other details about their projects. We also have signage guidelines, and the city has a Music Row urban design overlay in the area. Objective F was to provide for relocation of businesses if that became necessary. Objective G was to eliminate and prevent blight. At the top left, you can see the train yard that is in the Gulch. I think still there. But that kind of dominated the landscape of the district. And at the bottom, you can see what it looks like today. It's a very vibrant area. Objective H is kind of in the same vein, to eliminate underutilized land, to make sure land is reaching its potential in terms of its uses. At the top, we have the Velocity condos, and at the bottom, we have the JW Marriott. Objective I was to provide for layout of new streets, including pedestrian ways, parking facilities, and other public improvements. And this picture on the far left is the connection from the Gulch up to Demonbreun Street. It's attached to the Gulch Crossings office building that was built a few years ago. This is a continuation of laying out new streets. There are new parking garages along 11th Avenue South, streetscape and infrastructure improvements, and wide sidewalks for pedestrians. Objective J is to enhance the historic resources of the district. This picture is an example of what's called adaptive reuse of a building. It was formerly the Union Station train station. It is now the Union Station Hotel. The Frist Art Museum is also an example where it converted a large part of the building from the US Postal Service to an art museum. Objective K was to promote future use of railroad. There has been a bridge constructed on Division Street over the railroad that has bike lanes and pedestrian pathways that connect to the Gulch. And there was also some excess land acquired from the CSX, the railroad company, where new buildings were built, and behind those buildings is more open space for the community. Objective L was to discourage the presence of adult entertainment in the district. That is not a permitted use under our redevelopment plan. And Deja Vu was acquired and relocated outside of the district. Objective M is to promote the viability of Music Row. There is a Music Row vision plan that the city adopted 2 or 3 years ago that looks at some of the challenges of the area and what can be done to preserve the history of Music Row. We also would like to see wider sidewalks and bike lanes to promote that connection to the Gulch. Objective N is another way to connect Music Row to downtown. This would be connecting it to the arena. We constructed the Music Row roundabout that I think most people are familiar with. And this is also guided by the city's major and collector street plan, the city's transit plan, and the downtown code. And if you would like to get in contact with me, this is my contact information. You can reach out to me directly. I'm very responsive, so if you email or call, I will get back to you. And our next meeting will be next Wednesday, February 2nd at 6 p.m. That will also be a Zoom meeting. We'll send out information about that to remind people next week sometime, early next week sometime. Joe? Matt? Anybody?
Hey, yeah, this is Matt with I work with Sharon, the urban development department at MDHA, and I just want to say thanks for joining the call. As Shara said, we do have another meeting scheduled for next week, and we'll do some additional outreach, try to get more people involved. And if there's anyone else that's interested in the Art Center redevelopment district, which encompasses much of the Gulch, and you can please use your word of mouth and get it out there that they can participate next week in this call as well. But again, thanks, and hope you join us next week.
Thanks. Yeah. Did you have any questions for us?
I don't know if this is a crazy question, and I apologize because it's my first time on one of these calls. Is there a way that we could look at this PowerPoint in the future at all?
Look at what in the future?
This PowerPoint that you just went through, like if, for instance, we wanted to show our ownership or at
Yes,
the,
it'll be posted on our website.
okay,
If you email me, I'll be sure to get you that link.
perfect. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And I think that's it because nobody else joined us, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm sure between Rosie and I, we could get a couple of more people on future calls. I know she's really close with a lot of the restaurants and bar owners that are right
Mhm.
across the street from here. And, just to have a heads up of what's going on and what's being discussed for the future, I think they would probably still be pretty interested in knowing.
Okay. Yeah, that would be great. The more people, the better.
Yeah.
Well, if there is nothing else, and if my coworkers don't have anything else, I guess we'll end the call now.
Okay, well, thank you very much. I do appreciate it.
Thank you for joining us.
Of course, you're welcome.
Thank you, Sharon.
Good night.
Good night.